Gideon Long looks at what it's been doing there to help replenish stocks.
In Chile, the fishing industry is worth an estimated $1.2 billion a year. But over the past 20 years or so, there's been a severe depletion of fish stocks because of overfishing. Here in the city of Valparaiso, Oceana is working with the local government and fishermen to revolutionise the way that these waters are fished. And if a fishing industry is to survive here, then there's no time to waste. There are already no mackerel left in these waters, and sardine numbers have been reduced dramatically too. So Oceana's Vice President for South America is taking me out onto the water to give me a true understanding of what's going on with the current hake fishing industry. So can you give me some sort of indication of just how much the hake catch has declined?
Well, in the last 10 years, this fishery has declined in 70%. The quota 10 years ago was about 200,000 tons, and in 2014 it was 19,000 tons. So that gives you an idea of how this fishery has collapsed.
What are these ships here that we're coming up towards?
This is the competition of the little boats of the artisanal fishers. This is a bottom trawler. It mainly fishes for hake. With one boat, you can fish more than what hundreds or even thousands of fishers can catch.
So in your view, these are the ships that are doing the damage, not the little ones that we're on here?
It's clear that the fishing industry is responsible for the depletion of the oceans. Now that we have little fish, there was, of course, temptation or a pressure to try to catch as much as you can. There was a council composed mainly of industry representatives that could set the quotas as high as they wanted without any limit. Sometimes they exceeded the scientific recommendation in 200%. And that explains why fisheries are in such bad shape.
So the Chilean fishing catch has been depleted dramatically. What's being done to turn that around?
We have worked with senators and different groups to introduce changes to make fishery a sustainable activity. One of them is having science-based fishing quotas. Now we have fishing committees that will set mandatory limits so the fishery is sustainable and not being exploited in a way that cannot be sustained in time.
So how do you think this will pan out, or how do you see the fishing industry in, say, 10 years' time in Chile?
I think we are in a very dramatic transition. If we do things right, at least we can double the amount of fish that they can find today. If we don't do things right, of course, we will have lost the last chance that we had to rebuild the fisheries.
If Oceana's hunger challenge is to provide more of the planet with seafood as a source of protein, then they need to work fast to win the hearts and minds of local fishermen. Manuel Perez has been involved in the fishing industry for 35 years. And so the size of the catch has diminished dramatically.
Yes, some time ago in the 1990s, we, the local fishermen, could practically fish as much as we wanted, but the industrial fishermen have obviously depleted the hake stocks, and they've left us in the current situation in which we're working each year with quotas, hake quotas.
And what measures have you taken to make fishing more sustainable here?
The working plan we have here started with decreasing the number of nets we use. We're also increasing the size of holes in the nets, so baby fish can escape. We worked with nets with holes measuring 2 or 2.5 inches, now working with nets with 3-inch holes. That should allow the fishery to recover.
And how do you see the future for you as local fishermen here in Valparaiso?
We'll continue along this path we've taken, managing the fish stocks. If we all follow this plan, then we still have a good future.
The whole industry, including the commercial fisheries, has to abide by these strict new quotas. Plus, there's a ban on bottom trawling in vulnerable marine zones. But it's going to take at least 7 years to see if these new laws are going to have a significant effect on Chile's fish stocks.
Overfishing the seas isn't the only damage humans have caused in an effort to feed the planet.